Welcome to another immigration art video. My name is Art Serratelli. Feel free to contact us for any immigration question. We are a full-service immigration law group, and we will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have on your mind. If you have a question, we have an answer. Give us a call or contact us by Facebook or by email. Today's video is dealing with the subject of L1A, intra-company transferee, managers or executives, and the corresponding L1B, specialty knowledge worker coming from one branch of a company overseas or in Canada or Mexico, and then transferring to the United States. So, what are the requirements for an L1A or an L1B? First, the international worker coming to the United States must have worked overseas or in Canada or Mexico for a company, let's say Coca-Cola, and they've worked for Coca-Cola for 1 full year, and then after putting in a year or more of work outside the United States, that individual transfers to a Coca-Cola branch office in the United States. To make this clear and to distinguish it from the E visa, the E non-immigrant visa, the L, also a non-immigrant visa, is based on corporate structure. It is not based on your nationality. So, for example, if you are from France, you could work for Coca-Cola in Belgium, and then from Coca-Cola Belgium, you could transfer to Coca-Cola in Atlanta in the United States. Clearly, this is based only on corporate structure. We need two organizational branch offices, one overseas or in Canada and Mexico, the other in the United States, and somehow these two offices are connected either through a common owner, and then they are sister corporations. Perhaps they are parent subsidiary, and the parent is in Belgium and the subsidiary is in the United States, or vice versa. Or they are one gigantic, sprawling corporate entity with branch offices everywhere, all over the world. The rule states that you need to work outside the United States for 1 full year in the 3-year period prior to filing the L1 application. So when you're ready to file the L1 application, you count backwards 3 years, and if you've worked 1 full year between the day you file and counting backwards 3 years, if you've worked 1 full year in that period, you qualify. Now, why is this important? So say you're a German citizen and you're working for Toyota in Japan. Say your employer sends you to the Wharton School of Business and you get an MBA. Well, if you find a job during your last year of the MBA program with Toyota in the United States, then now let's look at a few examples. First, let's do an L1A manager or executive. The Immigration Service, when they say in the rules, you got to be a manager or a corporate executive, they mean it. But if you're a young person and you don't manage people, that's okay. Maybe you manage a process or procedure. Maybe you're too young to boss around the old people. Old people don't want to be bossed around by young whippersnappers. So you manage instead a process. Perhaps, I always use this example when I'm speaking on campus. Say you work for Coca-Cola in London and you're managing the process of getting those translucent stickers that you put on the side of buses. Well, your job might be to manage the process that gets every double-decker red bus in London to look like a Coca-Cola can. From the outside, looking at the bus, pedestrians and the people in their cars see a Coca-Cola can rolling by. But if you're sitting inside the bus, when you look out the window, you clearly see out the window. You don't know that you're looking through a veneer, which is a Coca-Cola can. Say you manage that process. That counts. If you're a senior manager for Coca-Cola in London, but you have a desk job and you're the financial manager and you've got 6 financial analysts reporting to you, and the financial analysts in turn have a few people reporting to them, well, then you are the classic definition of a manager or an executive. An executive would be someone who reports clearly right to the top to the CEO. A manager is someone a few rungs down. Another example deals with the L-1B, the specialized knowledge worker. A specialized knowledge worker is a little lower down in the ranks, and they are people who know the nuts and bolts, the inside out of the nitty-gritty that makes the company tick. So, for example, we had a client who needed to transfer from overseas to the Norfolk, Virginia office. They needed to transfer an internal auditor, Now this auditor, the government asked us, why can't just some other auditor down the street already in America, an American citizen internal auditor, why can't that auditor work for this company? What's so special? What's so special about the knowledge possessed by this particular internal auditor? And the answer was, this particular internal auditor created the accounting software that matched the real life paper flow and processes and procedure of the company. In other words, the company did not change its business process using paper to meet the needs of the software. This auditor sat down with the consultants from IBM and designed a proprietary accounting system that mirrored the flow of paper out in the workplace. Why this accountant was needed to be the internal auditor? Because this accountant designed the internal accounting system that was used all over the world by this particular corporation. Specialized knowledge. There's no other person walking around the streets of the United States of America with the knowledge in their head that this young auditor had inside her head. I love using the immigration rules in ways that help individual entrepreneurial family members and friends. So for example, just say you're from India, and just say your mom and dad owned a hotel at the beach in Goa, and say your mom's brother, your uncle, owned some hotels at a beach resort in the United States. Just say. How can we get you working with your mom and dad in a hotel that you own in Goa, transferred to the United States to help work with your uncle in the family business in America. Entity 1 in India and Entity 2 owned by uncle in America, they're not related. Not related, not connected, not affiliated. How do you make them affiliated? Well, we created a third company. So now India, mom, dad, and son owned half of the new company, and uncle, he owned the other half of the new company. So now new company, half owned by family in India and half owned by uncle in America. That company united the two hotel businesses, and the young man, the family member in India, was able to transfer himself as an L1A manager to help his uncle in America. The young man worked, it just so happened, at the newly formed company. As a further distinction, the L1A versus the L1B. The L1A is infinitely better because it lasts for 7 years, whereas the L1B is only good for 5 years. And the L1A puts you in a first preference green card category, meaning just because you say, for example, put Coca-Cola stickers on the side of a bus in London, and then you come to Atlanta, Georgia, and put Coca-Cola stickers on the sides of the buses in Atlanta, you qualify for a shortcut to the green card. Why? Because there is no requirement for advertising the job to Americans. Why? Because you were brought here, it's presumed, you were brought here to America because of the knowledge you gained as a manager overseas. And because of the knowledge inside your head, who could answer an ad that says this? We need, at Coca-Cola Atlanta, a person who put stickers on the sides of the double-decker buses in London to make them look like big giant Coca-Cola cans rolling down the street. We need a person who has the knowledge in their head that our employee, Sally Jones, has inside her head because she did that exact same job. No one could apply for the job advertised by that ad except Sally Jones. So she does not have to go through advertising. She skips the Department of Labor process in the green card process and goes right to immigration, and boom, it's an EB1, Intra-Company Transferee Multinational Executive Manager Green Card, EB1, and she's right up there with EB1. Are you ready? EB1 Extraordinary Ability Workers, people who've won Nobel Prizes. She's right up there with outstanding professors and researchers, people who are perhaps discovering the cure for the incurable diseases that plague our globe. So are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Coca-Cola girl is in the same category as a Nobel Prize winner, as a researcher in the healthcare field, as a nanoscientist, as Albert Einstein would have been? Yes. That's why that category is awesome. And the L1B, you still have to go through the normal advertising process and procedure for the L1B green card. The L1A is the way to go.